You likely know already, but just a quick refresher that CareersNOW is a province-wide initiative that was developed by Food and Beverage Ontario to help assist with solving the industry's employment challenges. We know that this is a vibrant and essential industry, directly employing about 125,000 people in Ontario. But we also know we're going to be short about 25,000 people by the year 2025. And then we're going to add to this some of the challenges that come with the new job creation due to new positions that require new skill sets. With the CareersNOW program, we have two campaigns called Taste Your Future and Frontline Food Facts, and we're using these communication campaigns to connect online with youth and job seekers to let them know about the industry and the variety of careers available. We're encouraging people that connect with us through Taste Your Future and Frontline Food Facts to visit CareersNOW Jobseeker and explore the jobs that have been posted by you. So the industry's businesses, the employers, the HR professionals at the CareersNOW employer portal. And that's exactly what we're going to learn more about today. So it's my pleasure to introduce my colleague, Mark Patterson at Magnet, who's a key partner in CareersNOW. Mark will walk us through how to post jobs and find qualified applicants and students and access wage subsidies for those students on the CareersNOW employer portal. And so you'll see in the comments section there, I think many of you already have created an account for your business, but if you haven't, please note the link and either do that now as Mark's giving the demo or just save that for later to get yourself going. Okay, now, Mark, over to you then. Thank you.
Great, thanks, Isabel. Hello, everybody. Happy Monday, happy election day, I gues. Hope everybody's finding time to get out and vote. We'll jump in, but please feel free to ask me questions. We'll certainly leave time at the end, but if you have a burning question, I have no problem with you jumping in and asking or sticking your hand up. Just let me know, because I know some of you may have questions at different parts, and we'll try and address them all as we go through. Just going to share my screen. Confirm that everybody can see. So this is the CareersNOW employer portal. And as Isabel mentioned, I'll just mention at the outset, there is a CareersNOW Jobseeker portal as well. The important thing to remember is one of the things about the system, you can't use the same email address to have an employer account and a job seeker account. So if you were going in to see kind of the tools and resources on the job seeker side, or maybe you have some young people you want to refer to it, it can't be the same account as an employer account. So just to let you know, we've had some people create accounts on like a job seeker side and then trying to create an employer account with that same email address, and we need to reset it. So just a little information at the outset. But basically, like any website, you'll be asked to create a new account. So when you first come to the site, if you have not already done that, there's a create an account link here. And it's fairly basic information about your organization, just so we have an account on, one second, move my window around, just so we have an account on file with you. I have an account that I've set up just to do this demo. So, whoops, I'm gonna go back. So I'll just log in with this account now, just to show you. So once you've created an account, you're gonna get an email, just like with most sites you sign up to. You're gonna verify the account. Then you'll be able to log in, and this will be the initial portal view that you will see. One of the things to note is that you will also have notifications here of any upcoming events that have been notified through the system. So there's an actual Magnet webinar. It's not a CareersNOW webinar, but a Magnet webinar on how work integrated learning can help your business grow, if you're interested in learning more about one of the programs I'm going to talk about. But we'll also have these, what we call targeted messages. You'll see this one's about the webinar, but there are others. This one here is about the webinar that you're currently on now, and Food and Beverage Ontario can send out other, what we call targeted messages through the system. They will show up in the system, but it will also send you an email to alert you that there's a new message, and you can set your preferences so you get an email once a week or so on. You won't get that many from the system. but you are able to control your preferences. You'll see social media channels as well inside here for Careers Now, and you can scroll through those to see maybe some of the focus tweets and other things on social that have been sent out. Just to go back here, you'll notice that there's what we call a little hamburger. If you're used to tools like Google and others, this is a fairly familiar web standard approach. And within this, it's what we call an app drawer. And so we are able to turn on different applications depending on the project. But in here, as an employer account, you'll have access to job posting, other resources that Careers Now can set up, or target a message. So just to give you an idea, if you go through here and click the job posting, there's a little bit of a different workflow. What we've also done is created basically banner ads on the main portal here that will take you to some of the places that we think you're most likely to be looking for. So one of them is the student work placement program, where there's up to a $7,500 subsidy to reimburse wages if you've hired a student in a work integrated learning program. You can apply for funding, and we've actually brought, there are over 4 different funding partners, so different organizations that offer this funding program into this one portal. So you can choose the one that you most affiliate with. And if you would go here, for example, so you'd apply for the wage subsidy if you already have a student, maybe you've already hired a student and you're retroactively looking, so some of the programs can retroactively fund, or you know which student you're going to hire, you've already gone through that process with a local institution, you can just apply for the funding. But you're also able to, and this is one of the really unique things about this platform, you're also able to post a job and at the same time apply for the funding as well. And the unique thing about this project with Careers Now is by using the Careers Now portal, you can actually post a job once and you can distribute it to all of over 108 institutions across Canada, and you can choose the institutions that you would be sending it to. You can also post jobs for recent graduates or experienced workers. So it's a little bit of different workflow because the job boards that are used for recent grads are a little bit different than those that may be used for a specific co-op program or industry program within different institutions. So what we've done is tie together all the systems that these institutions are using and local community-based employment service organizations to reduce your administrative burden when you're posting a job. If you have actively posted jobs before and you have to go to multiple institutions and multiple community organizations to post that job, you understand that that can be a very frustrating and time-consuming process. And this has brought it all together so you can post to our entire network of partners with one posting. And so I'm just going to show you that. So if you're hiring a student that's in school and kind of in a co-op program or internship, you can just click here. You can click on co-op. It will take you to a system and you could say, well, I'm getting ahead of things. I'm going to hire for winter 2022. So that's January 1st, April 30th. You can click next. And you can actually choose the discipline. So if as an employer, you're hiring somebody, but maybe you want a marketing student from a business or finance program, or maybe you want a culinary or hospitality student or other, you can pick the focus area. Let's just pretend that it's a business student that I'm looking for. You can actually come in and define this even further. So you can reduce or remove. So if it's not an accountant, for example, you can turn that off. And you can actually be pretty specific about which programs you want this to be listed to. And again, that can just make sure that your posting is getting to the right programs and the right job boards and the right institutions. So we'll go to the next screen. Here, what's unique about this system is this will then show you a list of all of the institutions that have a winter co-op program for business students. So this is another really unique thing about posting this way, is it can reduce the amount of time, so you can actually see what programs or what institutions have the type of program at their institution, and allow you to do it all in one posting. So instead of going to all these 72 schools separately, you can do that all with one posting. Again, that's a really unique piece about posting through this process. And it actually goes on the institutional job board. So at the institution, if you're working in a community, maybe you're in Toronto and you want to send it to George Brown, and you also want to send it to Humber and Sheridan, for example, and maybe Ryerson, you can do that all with one posting. It will go to the institution, and they sometimes further vet the postings, and it goes into their job board. So it's not a separate job board that's outside, it's the ones the actual students are being told to look at their institution. Okay, so if you agree with the list of schools, you can click next. You can add your opportunity details here. I'm not going to go through every step just for the sake of time, but you'll see the next step in this process is you add your details, which is information about the person posting, in case the school wants to get in touch with you for additional information. There's a few additional options in how you distribute it, and then it will take you into the funding application process. So instead of having to fill out a separate application and re-enter all of the information again for the funding, you can actually do it all in one process. Okay, so I'm just going to take you back and show you another posting type, and that's if you're actually looking for maybe recent graduates or experienced workers, maybe people in the community. You're looking to fill jobs that might not be specifically related to a post-secondary institution. You can click post a job now, and you can actually go into professional and skilled workers. And then there's another posting process here that allows you to identify, you can still, through this process, get it on kind of the general open job boards that are at institutions. But the other process is the one that will get you into restricted job boards in specific co-op and internship programs. So just, there's the two posting processes. With this one, you can also deliver it as well to the entire, what we call the entire magnet network of job seekers, which has, in Ontario, there's over 100,000 job seekers that you'll be able to target that are being supported in community organizations. Across the network on the post-secondary side, we have about 1.5 million students that have access to the postings through our institutional partnerships. So I'm going to stop there and just see if anybody has, I'm going to stop share so I can see everybody, but see if anybody has any questions about what I've shown so far.
Good.
No questions.
Take that
I
as
have a question, Mark. Oh, I'm sorry.
good. Hi,
It's
Carrie,
just-
go ahead.
Yeah, just wanted to ask, I'm at University of Guelph in the co-op and career services office. And so if a co-op job is posted through CareersNOW, it's not posted on.
It goes actually into your Orbis installation at Guelph. So if they pick Guelph, it'll actually go into your Orbis institutional system that you use at Guelph.
Oh, so our experience Guelph site?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that's the unique thing about this, right? So instead of what we can do is create a project with partners like Food and Beverage Ontario, where they have a need to track and report just like you have at the institution. So they're able to work with us. We've integrated all of these solutions with Orbis, which is your technology provider for all of your job boards at Guelph. And these jobs literally go right into, so if one of the employers on the line picks Guelph, it will go into that workflow. It's not posted on a separate job board. It actually shows up inside your system. I'm not sure the configuration of Guelph, but on the Guelph side, you can have it so it directs to either an open feed or a restricted like co-op job board for a specific program. So if they pick hospitality and tourism or marketing, it'll go into the job board that's for those students, because within your institution, you can have multiple restricted job boards and an open job board, but it's actually going into your institutional system.
Okay, I'm just wondering how that works. I haven't heard how that works because we have, like, every employer has to have an employer account, an experienced Guelph employer account, which we vet and approve, and then jobs are approved before they go live.
Yeah, so this is, we've worked, and maybe your experiential office director will be able to provide a little more information on, but the employers that come through this site, the jobs can also then be vetted on through the Orbis platform on your side. And we're also doing pre-vetting. So again, there's 108 schools across the network. Guelph has been fairly active and engaged, and it's kind of been the setup through your experiential office, how those are distributed internally.
Okay, great. And so then would we have all the contact information of the employer so we can reach out to them and have a chat about the process?
Yeah, absolutely. So as you'll notice when I was showing the job posting, it's got all that information. So again, it's literally in your Orbis platform. In your, just like it would be if the employer came through your Guelph website. What you have to remember is that a lot of employers wanting to post to multiple schools, we certainly want to encourage them if they've been, directly working with you through the Guelph website, they can still go through that and post it there. But this still gets it into the same process, but it makes it a lot easier for the employer if they're posting at Guelph and Waterloo and McMaster. They don't have to do it 3 times, which can be, from an employer's perspective, very time consuming. So this follows all the same vetting process and gets the posting into your institution that way.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Any other questions?
I've also put a note to everyone, Mark, that they can ask questions in the comment box and we'll monitor that.
Perfect.
There also.
So Isabel, is there anything else you'd like to show, or maybe somebody had a question there?
If you could actually walk through the process of posting a job.
Sure.
I think that would be, please shout if anyone would like something different, but I think that would be.
So I'm just going to.
Sorry, just a quick question here. Agnes from Griffith Foods, if I may, before we get into that. Has there been any sort of conversations around doing any sort of virtual events, or has there been? My apologies, I'm relatively new to this, so if you've done that already, I'm sorry, but any sort of virtual events where individuals attend, or something where the organizations themselves have sort of gotten together and done like a cooperative sort of live session on available postings and jobs within the medium?
Having a hard time hearing you, and I suspect it's on my end, but I think you asked about virtual job fairs.
Not just virtual job fairs, but just in general. Yes, I guess yes. Let's go with that. Virtual job fairs. Yes.
We are. So CareersNOW has fairs, and I would be pleased to connect.
Thank you. Sorry about that.
No, not at all. Thank you for bringing that up, actually. And yeah, we'll bring in Nicole Galacci for that, who's helping us, who's assisting with those job fairs. Our first job fair is for Maple Lodge specifically. It's exclusive to Maple Lodge Farms.
Great.
Is being hosted shortly, and then we have a general job fairs. But yes,
sorry.
Please connect with me.
Thank you.
Yeah, sorry, Isabel, you are breaking up a little bit. I think everybody else is probably. I think your message came across well, but so we'll actually go through. I'm just going to go back. I'll start sharing my screen again and just oops, just give me 1 second. Again, I'll just confirm with you, Julia, if you can see.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you. It's always fun flipping back and forth and you lose everybody's photo or image on the screen. So once again, once you're inside the CareersNOW portal, and this allows, and I think this is just an important point further to the earlier discussion, this allows CareerNOW and Food and Beverage Ontario to track and report as they need to report for their funding and for their grant that is supporting this program. So all the tools, just like a school needs to track all of their kind of activity, their experiential learning record, the interview, and all of the things that are happening with their students to kind of track that internally. And that's what they use, what I was mentioning earlier, this platform called Orbis. And as employers, you'd see that branded in different ways at different institutions. What we've done is tied this front end for the industry partners together so they can actually, you can post through here, but it still gets it into that same process that each school depends on, which is really critical. It's not a separate job board that we have to get the eyeballs of students on. And it's keeping the schools connected with the employers as well. So we're going to go through here again. So if you said, I want to post a co-op job, you can come in to the system. You can pick, let's do again, winter 2022. You can say, okay, there's an academic program. I want to go for culinary, hospitality, recreation, and tourism. And just going to close that, go next. I'm not sure. I think my internet maybe. Can everybody hear me? Julia, can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear.
Yep.
Sorry. I'm going to go back and just because I think I just need to refresh here. Just give me 1 second. I'll go again. So co-op education. It always happens when you're doing a demo. So I mean, I think I have too many windows open and it's log right out and come back in. It's actually my mouse. It's intermittently. That's what it was. Sorry, everyone. So we'll just come back into the platform. We're going to click co-op education. We're going to click on winter 2022. So that's a co-op student for winter 2022. I'm going to say culinary, arts, recreation, and tourism. Click next. I can filter, so I can go University of Guelph and click next. What? Just to keep with the examples. So tell us about your opportunity. So when is the deadline, application date? I'll just put, and then you can set a go live date as well. If you have an internal tracking number that you use as an employer, you can put it here. The name of the position is, I'm just going to say marketing coordinator. Job location requirement, you can say on site. We've also added remote or temporarily remote, given the current situation. Number of positions, salary amount, you can say it's $20 an hour, hours per week, 40, and add your address. It should just come up and complete the rest for you. You can cut and paste your job description here, your qualification requirements, your skills highlights, any application instructions that you have. You can add, if you have an applicant tracking system, so like a system online or a link that you put in your job postings, you can say, I'd prefer it via this link response, and you put in your URL here. If you're collecting applications via email, you can just change it to email. You notice that it automatically picked up the email from the account that I created. And would you want this position to be promoted through social channels and across other network channels? So if you want a lot more eyeballs on this, maybe it's a job you're having a harder time finding a student for, you can do that as well. And this is the question Carrie was asking. So for Carrie, when she's on the institutional side, it's important for them to actually maybe ask a little bit more information about the posting, connect with you as an employer to clarify some things. So you might say, you know, I'm the hiring or HR recruiter at, I can't spell, but I'm just going to try and go through here quickly. And it's Carrie, sorry, I'm using your, when we say test, and I'm just going to put a phone number, email, and website. So this is the information that somebody like Carrie at University of Guelph would be able to receive and would be able to follow up with you. And you're providing consent to provide this to them into their actual institutional system as well. So that comes across. Additional options, maybe you have a priority. And so one of the things with some of the funding, there are priorities around certain underrepresented groups or students. You can flag that in your posting. So maybe you're interested in supporting Indigenous students or so on. This is it doesn't filter out any students. It just declares that on the institutional system side. So if a student at Guelph, for example, was saying, I want to filter all the job postings based on companies that are looking for persons with disabilities, then it would show up, but the posting would still be visible to all of the students. It would just help highlight it if they're looking on that side. So I could add a couple as a priority. And then what happens here is the student work placement program, which is currently active, which you would be eligible for any work integrated learning position you're hiring from a post-secondary institution for a refund of up to $7,500 or 75% of the salary that you pay. And there are actually 17 different delivery partners of this government funded program in Canada. The 4 that are partnered with Food and Beverage Ontario and that are represented in the system are, you can see here, Excellence in Manufacturing Consortium, which some of you may be a member of, Food Processing Skills Canada, Ontario Chamber of Commerce, and Magnet also has a program. I will say we will be probably removing the Magnet one in the future. We're fairly oversubscribed, but I think most of the other partners, and you may be, as I said, a member of one of these industry associations as well. So if you said, I want to none, you don't want to apply for the funding, then that's fine. If you say, I do want to apply for the funding, and you pick, say, Food Processing Skills Canada, you can go next. It copies all the information that you actually created in the posting. So you're verifying now your posting. So we're almost done. Take one look at the posting. You press finish, and I'm going to go on and apply for the funding here. And so now you've chosen your delivery partner. You're confirming that you're applying for funding for the same position. So you'll see it's starting to fill out all the information that you already provided. And you'll enter information that's required for the application of the actual your organization. So any of the Swift delivery partners require information about your business, and you'll be put into a system where you'll be able to go through a whole process that happens over time. You'll have to, at different points in time, provide additional information that the delivery partner uses to adjudicate, prove you've hired the student, and prove that you've paid them. So you'd be required to submit things like pay stubs and so on, and add the student information. There's a few steps here, but that's basically the process. So where you may have had to hear about this SWIFT program through some other means, go to a completely separate site and create a separate application, you're able to apply right within the system. We're able to report that you applied as well to the institutions and provide aggregate information to the institutions about how many other students were successful in SWIFT and so on. So everybody benefits, and this reduces some of the friction and administrative work you may have when you're doing applications. And it will also help Food and Beverage Ontario as well, counting towards their activity to support your industry, because they'll be able to aggregate and know that that happened when they're doing their reporting for their provincial grants as well. So I don't want to, I've actually created a posting, which is not a real posting in the system right now. So I'm going to ask Julia on my team to make sure she reaches out to Chris to tell him to cancel that posting. But I also don't want to go any further in this with a fake posting, because I'm in the actual system, and it'll start launching an actual application to Food Processing Skills Canada. But you'll see there's just a number of steps. They're fairly self-explanatory, and that would allow you to post a job. You'll obviously do your interviewing and hiring separately, but you'll be in a queue, and you'll probably be conditionally approved by the delivery organization for your placement as well. So it's all tied into one process and all delivered through your industry association. So I'll stop there again. Isabel, was there anything else that you wanted me to show or focus on?
I wondered about just walking through a similar process, Mark, for looking for a qualified job seeker, maybe a list or something just outside of the system.
Absolutely will. Yeah. So if you're looking for a individual that may have graduated, or it could be youth, for example, and we have a lot of organizations on our network that are supporting people in the community. So it could be organizations like the YMCA or different immigration settlement organizations. We have about 350, actually 390 partners now across the country that also support employment in local communities. So in Ontario, there are a fair number of community-based organizations that also will support. So if you're not looking for a post-secondary student, you can also use this system through CareersNOW. And you would basically, there's two ways you could go: post a job now for youth, recent grads, or experienced workers. Or again, as I explained earlier, you can come up in here and just click on job posting, create a new posting, and it would give you the selection. So you may have general labor positions as well that don't really have a specific skill set or educational background. It might be more general kind of skill set, and you're just looking to get the posting out. So you can post, it's just a simpler process to go through here. If you're looking for a youth that may not be in a post-secondary, again, you can start out, how do you want to track it? So you're using Magnet within CareersNOW. You can track it through our system. We have.
Can you switch back to screen share?
Oh, I am so sorry. I thought I was screen share. Thank you, Isabel. Here I was talking without showing. I'm sorry. I'm going to go back just one step here.
Thank you.
So once again, you're back at the main page. You have the option here, which is what we showed you before. If you're looking for a youth, recent grad, or experienced worker, post a job now. You'll be given these options again, as I was explaining. So if it's a general labor, no specific skills, you can click here. Simpler posting, here's a professional and skilled worker. So you click on here. If you want to manage your posting within the system, so you want the system to collect all of the applications, and then you can use the system to kind of adjudicate through and review. You can keep this on Magnet. If you want to, if you have your own separate applicant tracking system, you can put your URL on here. If you want to do it just through email, so you want candidates email to you, you can click here. And you can actually require any of these documentations. So if you want them to have a cover letter, transcript, work samples, etc., you can make this explicit. It's not required, but if you say, I want, you know, your resume and cover letter, the application email address that you want the applications to come to, so wherever, it could be info@your company or jobs@your company, whatever that may be. You add in the title, so we can go job level. So again, this could be an entry level junior, field of work. Again, this is a little bit smaller lists than before, but it could be any of these roles. So let's just say it's a marketing, communications, advertising. You can put in your job description. Okay, put in your job location. So it could be, you know, Sudbury, Ontario, Canada. The job type is it's a full-time, it's paid hourly, and then your start is let's say it's here, or ASAP. You can actually, and we'll replace that, and then the end is open. And if you have language requirements, you can put language requirements in as well. You know, we have people using the system that want to understand that they have Canadian and maybe citizenship in another country as well. So this is here, but you need them to have work eligibility in Canada. This is particularly important. We do a lot of helping companies recruit internationally as well. So this allows us to say that it's a required condition. You can say it's one open position. Application deadline is November. Click continue with today. Put the posting end date.
Just a comment to employers, especially on this piece. I wanted to make sure to keep the job posting active for as long a period of time as possible. So I appreciate some quickly give it more than a week or two if you can. So that work for you.
I just want to double check.
So that's Isabel that said that, right? That made that comment. My question is, so if we do that, how does it work from the applicant side? Do they get an alert? Like, how does it work? Because keeping it up there, if it's not a fresh posting, like what do they see? What, you know, how does it not get lost or get, yeah, how does that posting stay fresh from an applicant perspective if we're keeping it up there as long as possible?
Yeah, so they would, when you put it on, I would say that, you know, depending on the group you're hiring for, I would post it for like maybe a month or two. I would post it for a long period of time. It will show up. So when it first goes into the system, what it does is it will look for people with the skills or experiences that you've outlined in the posting. And then it will invite them to apply for it. So it actively actually goes out and actively looks for people that have profiles in the system that have the skills and experiences you're looking for, and encourages them to apply for the position. And it will also list itself on a board. On a job board. I wouldn't make it too long, but I would also, to Isabel's point, wouldn't make it too short either. Because we do see that as well, where it could be too short. Now, if you're trying to hire somebody and there's a deadline around funding and so on, that can play into it. But if the posting gets too old, to your point, it could end up kind of down a list, and you want to make sure that you would refresh it. So I wouldn't put a posting necessarily completely open-ended. You may be hiring for that position regularly. You could do that. You could put it out, a year or two, but it usually is better because they will see kind of when it was posted, and it will aggregate based on when it was posted. Does that answer your question?
No, not really, because so I guess, yeah, I mean, it goes out and I guess you're saying it goes out and finds the people that, so from an applicant perspective, they're registering on this, that's how it sounds to me, that they're registering on the site so that when employers post a position, it will go out and find those applicants, correct?
That's correct, yeah.
Okay, and then you also said something about if you keep it up, long enough, it sort of goes down the list. And to refresh it. Now, what do you mean by refresh it? Because I've posted a few positions. I'm really not getting any applicants. And I didn't really see an option to refresh the posting.
Yeah, well, if you let us know, like we could also take you through, so we could check into the posting as well.
Okay.
And follow up with you. So please feel free to reach out to us.
Okay.
Maybe Julia, if you don't mind putting your email in the, we could just take a look at it and make some recommendations based on that.
That's good. Thank you.
Be happy to do that as well. There's a support. This would be different than our support. It'd be just reaching out based on, bringing this up. But it depends on, again, I just want to see where you sent it, how you sent it out.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
but we'd be happy.
Thank you.
Sorry, I hit refresh and I will mention to just, you see here on paid, we don't actually support unpaid postings unless we can verify that it's truly a volunteer position, because they don't actually meet labor laws in most provinces in Canada for unpaid positions. So I'm just flagging that. So start of the work term, end of the work term. I'm just gonna go through application deadline.
Mark, just quick question. I see that we're posting for full-time, but there's dates required for start and end. If it's full-time and it's
You can just put,
permanent-
yeah, you can put open-ended.
Oh, I see. Got it.
And I think I'm having a bit of an issue. I apologize again, but with my demo account, it's because I'm using a demo account on here as well. But I'm not getting through the next screen. But the issue is you can, if you have a full-time permanent role, you can just post, you know, ASAP and then just leave it open-ended at the end. We tried to build a system so it could be for like a co-op position, work term, etc., or permanent. So you could just leave it open-ended. You don't need to have an end date. So that would be this box here. But I apologize, I'm having a bit of an issue. It's only because I'm on actually on a demo account on this. The next stage, you just basically put your skills in that you're looking for, and then you decide how you want to distribute it, and it goes out to the institutions and to the community organizations. So are there any other questions that I can answer about the platform? If you have any kind of one-off questions that you want to follow up with us, Julia, I think, has entered her email as well. We're happy to do that. There's also technical support available if you're having an issue like with your email address or anything like that. But happy to take any questions here.
Mark, there are a couple of questions in the chat. There's one from Leah at EMC. Can employers select multiple work terms, example for back-to-back work terms?
The system you can so the way it works is you put the work term that it starts in, and then if it's a double work term, that will go into the institution. I believe I'm going to have to go back in and double check that. Why don't we do that just so we know for sure? Yeah, no, so this is, so you would put the term that it starts in, Leah, and then when the posting, you can put the information in the posting that it's a double work term position. Okay.
And then a question also from Carrie. Where do the jobs go for the schools? Does it go on our site or to Campus Connect?
So Carrie, the Campus Connect is connected to your site. So it distributes right into your system. So depending on how it's set up on the institutional side. So the administrator of Orbis on the Guelph side, it can go into Campus Connect if it's not a restricted job board, or they've set it up that way, or you can have the administrator on the Guelph side set it up so that the hospitality, tourism jobs, or the marketing jobs, or whatever, go into the right co-op job board on your side. So if it's a general job, but they still show up inside your Guelph, so wherever your students go inside their internal system at the institution, they will see it inside, depending on how your administrator on your institution side has configured it. And you're right, Kamal, that is why I'm still stuck in 2020. Guess it's better than the 80s. So Leah, there's no, you can refine the target and you can send the posting out, but it doesn't show you the actual profile of the job seeker. The way it works on our system is the profile of the individual is private until they choose to apply for a position. If they've applied to one of your positions, then you are able to actually access their profile. But until they've applied, they're private. So if you're managing the application inside of the system, and the candidate has applied, then you can see their whole profile, their application, their cover letter, their resume. If not, then you can't go on, like on LinkedIn, for example, and see open profiles of people. They would have to apply first. And that's particularly important if you're targeting underrepresented groups, because it's tied into how we allow them to do the disclosure when they self-identify or disclose to you.
Mark, it's just Carrie again. Just a quick question. Do you know, I just want to try and look to see if there's a job through Careers Now posted for University of Guelph co-op student. And I'm going to check with our administrator as well, but do you know, can you see from your end if there's been something?
I'd be happy to follow up after the, I'll put my email in, Carrie, or again, if
Okay.
you use Julia's, if you email her, we'll follow up after.
Okay.
We can't check inside your system, but Orbis could look into it as well to see how that's configured. So we can certainly follow up offline and talk to Natalie or Devin on their team and make sure that it's optimized for you.
Great, thank you.
Julia, if you could just make a note of that, and we'll follow up. Okay, any other questions?
Good. Thanks, Mark. Much appreciated. And if there are any further questions, please feel free to send them to me also at Food and Beverage Ontario. I'll put my email into the comment section. I'm cautious to say any more. I'm afraid I'm going to get cut off again, but we really appreciate everyone for joining us today for this webinar. And please post your jobs, because this is an important start to forming the community for food and beverage processing industry. I've heard from a few of you about how you're going to be sharing the link. Thank you, Martin, and to others. Much appreciated. It's a process, but over time, again, we're going to build the postings within the system and start building some profile around the jobs that we all have available. So thank you very much.
Thanks, Isabel.
Much appreciated. Everyone have a great week.
You too.
Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thanks, Mark. Bye all. Thanks, Julia.